For a lot of people who return to Ultimate Doom, choosing which episode to experience can very much determine what kind of experience you're going to have. The thing with Ultimate Doom is that it simply isn't one long campaign. The game is broken up into several 9-level episodes, each with its own themes and style choices. These episodes can vary wildly in quality from level to level. This got me curious. What if I wanted to show off the best of Ultimate Doom? What if I condensed that 36 level selection into one simple episode that contained, in my opinion, the very best of Ultimate Doom? That's what I'm going to be doing with this video. We're going to be clearing the slate and choosing 9 levels to compose the Ultimate Doom experience. For example, only the first levels from each episode will be considered for the first level slot, the second levels from each episode will be considered for the second level slot, and so forth and so on. I'm also going to add the rule that I can only choose a maximum of 4 levels from any existing episode. That way, no one episode dominates proceedings and becomes the overall experience, because that's not really what we're looking for here. I should point out that this is a very subjective episode that we're about to create. This is based on my personal experiences and feelings towards each of the levels. If the level that you like doesn't make it into the episode, let me know which levels you would choose in the comments. But for now, let's construct this episode. For the first level slot, we have a choice between Hangar, Deimos Anomaly, Hell Keep, and Hell Beneath. I definitely won't be considering Inferno's Hell Keep. I've already made a video on this channel remaking this level and trying to make it better because I genuinely just don't like it. It's a visually striking level, but very lazily put together in my opinion. Hell Beneath on Ultraviolence is one of the more tedious levels in Ultimate Doom. The difficulty is artificially raised by the removal of medkits, and I feel that while it looks great and has some fun encounters, I really can't get beyond that issue. In my opinion, the PS1 version of this level is the better version because it plays fair and the level is better for it. Deimos Anomaly is one of the most underrated levels in Ultimate Doom. It has a bunch of great secret areas, including one with a plasma rifle. It's also a fun level to blast through with some intense encounters, but ones that aren't overly unfair. It's a really great opening level and would probably take this spot had it not been for the icon itself, Hangar. I feel Hangar is such a great introduction level to Doom, achieving its aim of showing off the game, giving a fun introduction and being a blast to play through. The design is iconic, the layout is easy to understand, and I think that the enemy placements make logical sense as an introduction level. Sure, it's not the most difficult of levels, but in terms of classic Doom fun, it's the peak of what classic Doom offers, and I think the fact that so many gamers fell in love with Doom playing this level speaks to just how iconic it is. So for me, it's a clear choice for the level 1 slot. The levels on offer for the second slot are Nuclear Plant, Containment Area, Slough of Despair, and Perfect Hatred. Slough of Despair is a great example of Inferno's experimental levels. I don't hate it, largely because you can finish it inside 20 seconds, but I definitely don't think the novelty of it being shaped like a hand benefits the level at all. I think it's very forgettable in honesty. Sever the Wicked is Thy Flesh Consumed second level, and it's a huge fan favourite, both because Romero finished it in one day and because it's very punishingly difficult on higher difficulties. I've never truly vibed with this level, as placing copious amounts of pain floors and filling rooms with Barons of Hell isn't as fun as Romero thought it was. The initial onslaught with the Kako Demons and the Cyber Demon fight right before the exit don't really do it for me. It's a tough level and, dare I say, a bit of a slog. For the pick itself though, I'm going to go with Containment Area. There's nothing really wrong with Nuclear Plant. It's a fun, wide level with plenty of optional extras and secrets for the player to sink their teeth into. It's atmospheric, introduces a lot of fun concepts, and honestly, it's just a good time. But Containment Area does all those things slightly better in my opinion. Better secrets, wider level to explore, and I think the fact that there's so much to do makes the level that much more interesting. Plus I feel from a visual standpoint, Containment Area is one of the most varied levels in Ultimate Doom. It goes from tech-based to ancient temple very quickly, and it's really nice to see the difference in styles. Plus, who doesn't have fun with that Berserk pack in Containment Area? So yeah, the second level slot goes to the Shores of Hell's Containment Area. For the third level slot, we have the choice of Toxin Refinery, Pandemonium, and Sever the Wicked. The Shores of Hell's Refinery is just too flat for me and isn't all that fun to explore. I just think it's a very boring level and thus it will not be considered for this position. Sever the Wicked is a fun romp and filled with lots of fun and furious encounters. I think compared to the other two levels ahead of it here though, it just doesn't hold up all that strongly. The competition is fierce in this slot and unfortunately there are parts of this level I find a bit sloppy and not all that fun to play through. So when it comes to a choice between Toxin Refinery and Pandemonium, it's really a choice between the chaos of Pandemonium and the atmosphere of Toxin Refinery. I really like both levels, I think they both serve great experiences. Toxin Refinery has a lot of secret areas for the player to cover, while Pandemonium has some really fun encounters. In the end though, I'm going to give the nod to Toxin Refinery, mainly as I feel it's one of the strongest Ultimate Doom levels, and really showcases what classic Doom level design can really achieve when it's well executed. There's just so much to see and do as you're exploring this level, it's such a fun time. For the 4th level slot we have Command Control, Deimos Lab, Unruly Evil and House of the Pain. Command Control is largely forgettable to me. It's the first level in Knee Deep in the Dead I don't really care for, and I think that comes down to the fact that it doesn't really have that much going for it. I think everything after the blue door is just a massive letdown, including that maze that's completely optional and really not all that fun to explore. Unruly Evil is one of the blandest levels in all of Ultimate Doom, and I suspect that many don't hold a huge opinion of it. I definitely don't, because there's really not that much to say about it. Deimos Lab is huge and has one of the largest scales in terms of levels in Ultimate Doom. You feel like you're exploring a huge space in this level, yet it's never been one of my favourites. It just feels very sprawling to the point where it actually hurts the experience of the level. It has some fun encounters, but really it's not got much else going for it other than that final area with the 2 Barons of Hell. House of Pain isn't even one of my favourite Ultimate Doom levels, but I do feel it has a lot to offer in terms of challenge. It's not as wide or large as Deimos Labs, but it has a nice variety of encounters for the player, from choke points near the level start to the more spread out combat that sees Lost Souls and Barons of Hell thrown into the mix. I do find the puzzle near the level's end with the switches a bit stupid, and I'm not really a fan of how linear some of the points in this level are, but ultimately I'm not a huge fan of any of the levels from this selection, so I'm choosing from what I would argue is probably the weakest slot for me personally in all of this, and the winner of that is going to be House of Pain, I guess. For the level 5 slot we'll be considering Phobos Lab, Command Center, Unholy Cathedral and They Will Repent. Unholy Cathedral is a huge mess of a level for me. It tries to base the entire level around a teleporter puzzle which falls spectacularly flat. It's a very confusing level to try and navigate. It also has one of the most odd secrets in all of Ultimate Doom, a coloured door that's actually hidden completely from the player. Thy Flesh Consumes They Will Repent is always there when I'm playing Ultimate Doom, but I don't really love it or hate it. I do appreciate the more open level design, but I feel at times it works against the flow of the level. It definitely has a very interesting look to it, and it is a fun level to explore, but I do feel it gets a bit messy at points, in particular towards the level's end. Command Center has grown on me over the years. There was a time when I didn't like it at all and found it to be really tedious, but over repeated playthroughs I've actually grown to like it. It has a bunch of fun encounters, varies its design, and has a lot of secrets for those who want to go exploring. Plus I always find the opening section a real blast to work through. It's a good level. I think for the 5th level slot though, it belongs to Knee Deep in the Dead's Phobos Lab. It's just got everything you want in a Doom level. A lot of the enemy fights are fun, there's some really well thought out enemy placements and the rooms make encounters memorable. The yellow door for example is just a fun ride once you get through to the other side. Add in the fact that the music really hits the sweet spot of inducing fear and being an absolute bop. I can never find myself hating this level. It can be really tough, but it's definitely a standout experience for me. The level 6 slot for me is probably the absolute hardest to pick. You've got some real powerhouse levels in here, including Central Processing, Halls of the Damned, Mount Erebus, and Against Thee Wickedly. I'm going to have to put Central Processing at the bottom of this pile, only because I find some of the traps to be a bit too cheap, like at the end of the level where hitting a switch invites an entire horde of pinkies, spectres, shotgunners, and imps upon you. I also think that the maze, while a novelty, isn't really that fun to navigate. Thanks to the secret door right before it, you probably don't ever need to explore it if you've been here more than once. Against Thee Wickedly splits opinions within the Doom community, and I think that has a lot to do with the incredible difficulty spike that it throws at the player. This level is insanely unforgiving, with the player being challenged by pain floors, monster closets, and a layout that will take several playthroughs for players to really begin appreciating. And that final encounter with the Cyber Demon, it's great in my opinion. Unfortunately, Romero's overuse of pain floors once again drags this level down my rankings. There are very few areas of this level where you won't be dashing and losing health because the floors sap away your health. It doesn't help that near the start of the level there's a mandatory pain floor, which is really unfair on the player. I really like this level personally, but for me, it's just too flawed to be considered against the other two levels ahead of it. When it comes to Halls of the Damned and Mount Erebus, it becomes insanely difficult for me as these are two of my favourite Ultimate Doom levels. Both these levels experiment with non-linearity in different ways. Halls of the Damned allows you to collect keys in any order you choose, allowing you to face specific challenges when you feel ready. This openness makes the level feel more personalised and allows the player a degree of freedom that isn't really seen that often in Ultimate Doom. I also think the variety on show in this level, from dark hallways to trap rooms, all the way through to the bottlenecks and enemy rushes, are just really fun. But then there's Mount Erebus, which goes full on open plan with its level design. There's simply no other level in Ultimate Doom that even comes close to being like this. There's a lot of optional extras that the player can stumble upon to help them out, and a lot of encounters that progressively make the level much more difficult. I feel like Mount Erebus stands alone at the top of Ultimate Doom level design, and in a very close race between these four levels, it manages to get its toe across the finishing line in this slot. The map 7 slots for Ultimate Doom episodes is very important. For this slot we're going to be considering Computer Station, Spawning Vats, Limbo and Hell Followed. Right off the bat, I'm just going to say that Limbo is an absolutely awful level. It breaks under the weight of its own gimmick, hiding teleporters around the level but putting them in places where players will not naturally go to. It leads to a lot of back and forth, searching around and players just giving up. I've heard from more than one Doom player that this is the level they gave up playing when they were playing back in the day. I really don't know about And Hell Followed. Die Flesh Consume's penultimate level tries a lot of things, throws a lot of interesting ideas at the player, and yet all of it just feels very forgettable. Somehow this level has a load of optional areas, a sprawling final room that has a ton of enemies, and a cyber demon encounter in a confined space. This should be legendary, but it's completely forgettable. Spawning Vats is one of the oldest levels in Doom, and I think it has a lot of charm and character to it. That being said, I do think this level has quite a few flaws to it. Even though I like the layout and the way that the level loops around on itself, it is very easy to get lost, as a lot of the extra areas in this level are kind of meandering and not really all that interesting to actually explore. I do like how much this level tries to throw different things at the player, including the room with the pinkies. I do think it's a great penultimate level for the Shores of Hell, and it's definitely one of the highlights of that episode. However, there is no comparing it to the winner here. Computer Station, for my money, is one of the best levels in all of Ultimate Doom, but as a penultimate level, it's just leagues ahead of the other levels. I like level design that allows you to look into the future parts of the level and encounter enemies early. There are also a bunch of great encounters in this level, with enemies on high and enemies down below taking shots at you from across great distances. The level has a lot for you to explore, and it has a load of enemies who will come in even late in the level to challenge you. It's just a really great Ultimate Doom level in my opinion, and it's definitely deserving of the level 7 slot. How much you like a boss level in Doom games really depends on what you want from that boss battle. Some of the boss encounters in Ultimate Doom are arena battles, while others are full levels in themselves. For the 8th level slot, we're going to be looking at Phobos Anomaly, Tower of Babel, Dis, and Unto the Cruel. Dis for me is one of the most disappointing levels in all of Ultimate Doom. It served as the original ending to the original Doom, yet the Spider Mastermind feels completely weak in this level. It's basically a huge empty arena with the Spider Mastermind slowly shambling towards you as you circle around the centre building. Unto the Cruel is actually probably one of my favourite classic Doom boss levels. It's a complete level with keys to find, enemy encounters galore and a bunch of fun things to explore. The big problem is that, once again, the Spider Mastermind really lets things down. The final boss room is stuffed with enemies, but once again, it's way too easy to take down the Spider Mastermind by simply shuffling to the side slightly. When it comes to epic boss battles, this level stumbles right at the end, and it's a shame because if it weren't for that, this would be my first choice for this slot. As for Phobos Anomaly, I do really like what they tried to do here. The idea that you're leaving the base and are encountering these two Barons of Hell as you're making your way to the end is a really fun moment in the game, probably one of the most iconic across all of Ultimate Doom. I also love that the arena you face off against the Barons in isn't just a square or circle, it's a star. In my eyes though, there's only one boss battle in Ultimate Doom that really captures the spirit of frantic desperation and delivers an incredible experience at the same time, and that is Tower of Babel. Encountering the Cyber Demon for the first time, hearing its roar in the distance when you try to take down one of the Lost Souls, and realising that it's going to chase you around that area whether you want to or not is one of the most scary feelings in all of gaming. The addition of the Lost Souls really adds to this level as well. They serve as a nuisance to try and get between you and the Cyber Demon, and given that you'll probably be using the many rockets that you'll find in this level as ammo, there's a good chance that you'll be blasting yourself in the face at least once. Do I think it's the best final level in Ultimate Doom? No. Do I think it's the best boss encounter in Ultimate Doom? Absolutely. And here we are at the final selection to make. It's the secret level slot. What you want from a secret level is going to vary from player to player. Some people just want a quirky out there experience, while other people want something that's a bit more refined and challenging, a way to reward the player for being curious. For this one, we're going to be looking at Military Base, Fortress of Mystery, Warrens, and Fear. Right at the bottom of this list, I'm going to put Fortress of Mystery. It's barely a level, and the central conflict between the Cacodemons and the Barons of Hell is very one note. It was probably interesting back in the day stumbling upon this level, but looking back, it's definitely the weakest of the secret levels in Ultimate Doom. I recently made a video about Fear here on the channel, and I've made no secret of the fact that I'm just not a fan of it. There's nothing special about this level, there's nothing really interesting to explore, and as a secret level, it really doesn't hit the mark at all. I know a fair few people don't like Knee Deep in the Dead's military base, but for me, it's not even that bad a level. Much like Fear, it's very forgettable, but I think that the layout to this one, and the fact that it interconnects so seamlessly, really helps to elevate it. Do I think it's a great level? No, I really don't. I think it's a very passable level, and probably one that many players forget about, but I think that it's definitely a step up from Fear. Which means if you've been following along, we're going to be giving this slot to Inferno's Warrens. Yeah, I'm surprised too. I've made no secret about the fact that I do not like Hell Keep. I feel it's a very weak opening level to Inferno, but what I do like is how this level inverts that and turns what is a very dire level into a very unique experience, and one that sets a bar for the secret levels. The fact that the level's walls melt away and that you see all these new rooms, lots of new encounters, in particular against a Cyber Demon that can easily catch you off guard if you're not prepared for it. For me, secret levels should reward the player for being super curious, and here you've got a level that players have just played 10 minutes ago being corrupted and changed in front of their eyes. I really love that concept, and it's something that I wish the other secret levels had taken notes of. So for the final level slot in our episode, I'm going to give it to Inferno's Warrens. And there we have our 9 level episode. The ultimate Doom episode, at least when you're picking levels from each of the slots like we did here. I think we've got a really nice mix from across all the different episodes. We've got some real powerhouse levels in here, and I think that if you were to put all these levels together and give it to someone who hadn't played Doom before, they'd be seeing pretty much the best of what Ultimate Doom has to offer. If I was to construct an episode using all 36 levels in one big pile with no restrictions, this would definitely look a lot different, but I feel that what we've got here is a good reflection of what Ultimate Doom has to offer across all of its episodes. Let me know in the comments what you think of this level selection. Do you agree with the levels that I chose? Do you disagree? Which levels would you put in which spots? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, and thank you so much for watching.